Hi everybody, it's Kim over at Life Prepared. If you're new here, welcome. I hope you enjoy this short little video, and if you do, please consider subscribing. And to my beloved subscribers, thank you for all of your support. So tonight I am going to show you a very quick way that you can have, let's call them, they might be called MREs to some people, or a grab and go dinner, whatever you want to call it. I call it meals in a bag, that you can have in case of a couple of different events. Maybe you're a working mom and you need a very fast meal that you don't have to think about, that you can grab off the shelf and prepare in under 15 minutes before you have to run your kids to a sporting event or dance class or whatever it happens to be. The other event would be in case of, say, a hurricane or a tornado coming through your area, or a flood, some type of an emergency event where you need to quickly leave your home. In this case, you could put these into a tote or a bucket and literally grab them and throw them in your car and be out of your house in a matter of minutes. And you have enough food set aside for you and your family. So this meal I'm actually going to be using tonight. It's very quick to put together. And my first ingredient is a jar of my home canned chicken. This works really good for home meals, but it might be a little heavy, or even, you're worried about the jar breaking in the event that it's in a tote or a bucket. So there are a couple alternatives instead of the home canned chicken. Now you're going to use your imagination just a little bit because I do not have any handy, but you can get chicken in a can. They come in larger cans if you're a bigger family, or they have the smaller cans if there's only 1, 2, or maybe 3 of you. So this happens to be tuna, but we're going to pretend that this is chicken. The other way you can get it is in a pouch. This again happens to be, this is salmon, but let's pretend this is chicken. And you can get 1, 2, or however many pouches you need to put in your ready-to-go meal. The nice thing with the pouches is you do not need a can opener to open them, so that, if you forget to put one in your bucket or you don't have one in your tote, you don't have to worry. And these are lighter weight than by far the jar or the can. Okay, so the next thing you're going to need is something to make this more of a meal. So I have this chicken flavored Knorr rice mix. That's why I'm using chicken with it. And for us, we happen to be 3 of us, this is enough. But if you're family, you might want, an extra pouch. So basically, the only thing I need right now for this meal is my chicken and my rice. There's alternatives to the rice as well, which is the pre-cooked rice. These are nice if you're in an event where you cannot warm up your meal, and they come in different varieties as well, different flavors. It might not be the tastiest meal in the world, but if you had to open a packet of chicken and a packet of rice, you could mix them together and eat them straight out of the packages. You won't be hungry. They'd be better if they were warmed. But, in an emergency situation, it's better to have something that does not have to be warmed in case you cannot make a fire. What if you're in a flood and you can't find anything dry and you forgot to bring, a stove to warm this up? So, you have to think about those things, especially for that to-go bucket that, until you can get somewhere where you can warm them up, that you have these available. But I'm not going to worry about this right now because I'm at home. So let's say I have my rice and my chicken, And in order to make this a complete meal, I can add in a can of vegetables. You could have, like in this case, green beans on the side. You could have maybe some mixed vegetables that you could toss into your meal and make it all in one pot. That would work really nice too. The one thing you want to make sure of if you're using a can is that you have an opener, or you find the ones that have the pop tops. If if you're afraid you're not going to get an opener, then look for the pop tops. If I have it in my to-go bucket, I will have a can opener in there, as well as, at least a small pot and a butane stove or something like that. They have the little, I use for camping, they have the little containers that hold the butane or propane, and then they have a small little MSR little stove that you can, put on top. Those last about 4 days if you're making 2 meals a day. So what do I do with these if I want them to go? I find myself a zipper bag. This is a 1 gallon. They come in 2.5 gallons. So depending on what you're putting in your meal, you get the appropriate size bag. All right, so what am I going to do? Let's say I'm using the can of chicken, because this is going to go with me, or my pouch. I would take my can, let me move this out of the way here, place this down into my zipper bag. I could do that or my pouch. I would take my can of vegetables or fruit. If you don't like vegetables, you can have fruit. Make it more of a complete meal. And then I'm going to add whichever type of rice that I'm going to be using in my particular kit. All right, so I have everything in one bag. The other important ingredient, not really ingredient because you're not going to eat it, is I write on here what it is, chicken and rice, and the expiration date of the one item that's going to expire first in my bag. I slip that inside. If you want to make this a complete meal kit, you could add maybe a couple of bowls in here and a spoon, so that if you have to eat it cold, you would be able to mix it up in a bowl and eat it. Personally, that would be in my bucket or my tote. One other important item that I almost forgot to tell you about, depending on what type of items you put into your kit. Now, if I have this instant rice or already prepared rice, I won't need this. But if I'm using something like this in my kit, each bag needs 2 cups of water. So I don't have any at home. That's why I almost forgot. I would add 1 bottle of water to this kit per bag of the rice that I needed. So read your labels and find out what you need so that you have everything you need in this kit. Okay? Like I said, these are completely ready to go, and you'll be ready to eat wherever you are. I wanted to make sure I remembered the water that I almost forgot, which is a very important thing. You could also put some in your bucket, but I like it better if it's in these individual bags. So next step is just I zip it shut, take out a little bit of the air. This would go on my shelf, especially if I had a jar in here, or my tote or my bucket, so that it would be ready to go. The reason I put the expiration date, you should be looking through your food, I would say a minimum of twice a year. As we know, most things will go well past this expiration date, but you could rotate out. For example, the closest expiration date is this rice mix. I know it's going to go a year at least past that, but I use this probably once a month at home. I would buy 1 or 2 new packages, replace them, write the new expiration date for whatever expires first onto my paper and stick it back in my bag. So now you have a meal that is always ready to go. If you think this is helpful, let me know, and I will put together many more meal kits. I'm going to do it for myself anyway. If you want me to videotape it, let me know in the comments below. And I hope you guys never get in the situation that you need them, but minimum I would have, let's say, a 72-hour kit together in case of an emergency. So I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and I hope you come back to see me soon.